seconds.
I think that means you can get going.
Wait, I can get going? Okay. 3 seconds. Got it. All right. So welcome to Threadbare. This is the stitchpunk role-playing game where you play a broken toy in a broken world. And I'm Stephanie Bryant. I will be your GM. I wrote the game, so we'll have a hopefully good time. How many of you have played Threadbare? Couple of you. How many of you have played a Powered by the Apocalypse game? Is that everyone? Charles? Yeah, okay. Charles is on my video there. All right. So that's great. For those watching at home, Powered by the Apocalypse game, you probably, if you're a Gauntlet subscriber, you've probably seen a few of these games, but in the basic core mechanic is you roll 2d6, and if it's a 6, if modified with whatever your stat is, if it's a 6 or less, it's a miss, which is not the same as a failure. It's a miss. If you roll a 7 through 9, it's a qualified success, and if you roll a 10 or better, yay, congratulations, you did it. The 6 or less in, for example, Apocalypse World and Dungeon World, which are probably the two most popular Powered by the Apocalypse games, gives you XP. And in Threadbare, I realized that XP and leveling didn't quite make sense. So in Threadbare, instead, when you roll a 6 or less, part of you breaks, and you get a hold that you get to use later for a special move that is based on your playbook. And it varies by what type of toy you are. So going over a little bit of the content and X cards and so forth, one of my warnings on this game is that because you break a lot, every time you roll a miss, you break. Because you break a lot, you will get a lot of what I call body horror in this game, in that, when a part breaks, that part is no longer usable. And it might be that it was completely removed. It may be that it just broke beyond usability, but it might also just be like, oh, no, my leg is over there now. And to repair those parts, a lot of times you'll need to cannibalize another toy to hack it together. That is kind of the core aesthetic behind the stitchpunk theme, so it's hard to get away from that, and that's why my content warning for the game is that there will be some body horror and possibly cannibalism. I would say probably 70 to 80% of the games that I run end up at some point with somebody talking about cannibalism. So that's why I give this content warning, even though they're toys. They're not biological. They're not actually eating anybody or anything horrible like that. It's just that kind of just sort of happens as part of the game. So with that in mind, and Paul, who is our Gauntlet facilitator here, reminded me to talk about the X card. We have a number of tools to sort of signal, hey, I need a break. Hey, I need this to not happen. Hey, I need to step back, or I need us to rewind. And we can use any of those and all of those. At its core, X card, which Charles was kind enough to demonstrate, we can just hold up our hands like that. If you type an X in the chat, I will hopefully see it if I'm not looking at something else, but I do have my chat window open. So if you type it in there, or if you just say X card, fine too. You can also step away at any time. There's an open door policy. And I use a lot of rewinds. If somebody says, I don't like how that's working, can we go back? It's fine. Threadbare is not a game that you win or lose, so it is okay if we undo the story and redo it. I'm a knitter. I'm very familiar with unraveling and going back to fix it. So, we can totally do that. And I am completely in favor of that, to tell us the story that we want to tell and that we are enjoying. That said, there are 3 tones, I call them, in Threadbare. You can play this game very light and fluffy, and in fact, that tone is called fluffy. And in fluffy, some of the things the choices that we make, one of them is that we just never have combat as an option. You just never can have you can't get into a fight. It's not an option. It's a little bit more like My Little Pony in that feel of this is much gentler. It's a much gentler world, and characters interact with each other in a much nicer way. And sometimes that's just exactly what you want. I ran a game at a convention last weekend where on Sunday morning they were like, "Yeah, I want that. It's Sunday morning after a 3-day con, and I've had a lot of intense emotions. I would love to just play. Everybody is generally nice." So we did, and it worked out well. You could still have conflict. It's just the conflicts are nonviolent. Then we have a tone that's called Scruffy, and in Scruffy we can have a fight, but our fight will always be a montage. So if somebody says, "Okay, I'm going to hit him," then we kind of pause for a second. We finish out any dialogue that was happening, because one of the things that I hate in RPGs is when the person who rolls initiative ends the conversation, and I dislike how that plays out, because the most violent person wins the talk. I like that doesn't wow me. So I replace that. We finish out the conversation. Sometimes that means the fight doesn't happen, and then if we have a fight, we tell it by asking a couple of core questions, and one of them is, "Okay, pick a part that got hurt because you got damaged in the fight. If we role played it, if we had to throw dice around, you would get hurt. And tell me what victory looks like for your character or for you." And sometimes victory is actually losing the fight, but you progress further, and so you can narrate that if you wish. For many people, when they get to that point, they're like, "I did not fight. I got away. I ran away. I escaped. I hid. Whatever it was. Like when it turned violent, I got out of there," and that's fine. You still got damaged in the process, but you get to narrate how did you take that hit? How did you take that damage? And the presumption is that you won the fight, and then it's over, and we move on from there. So that's and that is part of the Scruffy sort of tone. In Scruffy, we also don't have PvP, just like in Fluffy. And I, as a GM, can never give you a threat that is like that you have to fight, that is unreasonably malicious. Okay. Like I can't give you an opponent who hates you and can't be talked down in any way. And then we have what's called Dented. Dented is the grittiest, the grimdark version of Threadbare. And there you can have something that hates you and can't be reasoned with. You can have genuine evil. You can have, an opponent, an adversary that you just can't even talk to. That is possible. And in Dented, you can also have some PvP. There are options out there for characters to act against each other in direct ways. My personal opinion as a GM is that the sweet spot for this game is Scruffy. It's that mid-level. But if anybody wants to go lighter or darker, we can discuss that. So, what do you guys want for the tone of this session?
I like Scruffy.
Yeah, Scruffy's good with me.
I could do Scruffy or Dented.
I'm cool with Scruffy, yeah.
Yep, Scruffy to Dented was where I'm at as well, so I think Scruffy it is.
I think Scruffy works great, and we will have a lot of fun. Okay. For those of you who have played Threadbare, did you play the Flight of the Bumblebee adventure?
No. I think I played the one where they were can't remember what it's called, but it was they were riding the machine trying to get someplace.
That's Flight of the Bumblebee.
Oh, that is Flight of the Bumblebee.
Was the machine flying?
No.
Then that was probably Furry Road. The adventures that I've written mostly are journey adventures. They're going to some place or from some place, or they're just on the road doing something. So
did you say Furry Road?
Yes.
Oh, that's too good.
Yes.
I believe it was Furry Road.
It's an extended chase sequence.
I love that.
There's a number of adventures in the back of the book that they're all like adventure starters because I mean it's powered by the apocalypse. You can't like give a big here's our dungeon crawl or anything. So looks like Charles is going to drop and come back on because his video got mangled. So we will get there. But all right. So with that in mind, I did post in the chat a link to the handouts. These are the PDFs. So if you can go and grab those, you'll need the basic moves handout, and you can use either one. One is a 2-page layout, and one is a single-page format. Depends on really they're the same. You just have to decide which one is easier for you to read, whether you're on screen or printing it out. And then also the playbooks. And the playbooks are, that's our character sheets. Charles, I was just saying, if you didn't already pick up the handouts on the internet, I posted a link there. So, and yeah, so just go ahead and grab those if you don't mind.
Yeah, I was looking around, and my initial reaction was to be like, "Wait, how many are there?" And then it's like, "Oh, there's 3, so we're certainly going to be doubling up." And then you pick kind of special types of those things.
Yes,
I remember that from the description. Silly me.
Yes, there is no need to be unique in your playbook selection, and because you're going to be unique anyway, just by virtue of making your character. It will be unique. Last weekend, I ended up with 2 players playing the Christmas stocking as sock characters. They played them completely differently, and they actually had a great time because, one of them, she was like, I'm a guardian, and the other was like, I really want a jingle bell. That is my life's quest, is to get a jingle bell. So there were, they had their own personality, and that I feel like that's gonna come out. So let's go around and talk about what characters you guys want to play once you get those playbooks up.
So I've been thinking about this all week. Go ahead, David, if you have your.
Oh no, you go right ahead.
I know I'm very excited, so I don't want to jump over anybody. I read through. I haven't played yet, but I was thinking back to like my childhood and what I liked to play with when I was a child, and my favorite toy was Lego. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering if under the Mekka, the bunch of little guys could be justified as a bunch of Legos that sort of build things.
Sure. Do you want to be a bunch of Legos? Do you want to be a bunch of minifigs? Do you want to be a bunch of Legos that include minifigs?
I think like the Hive Mind Center might be a minifig, and then sort of build lots of. Would that be more like the transforming one, or would that be more like a bunch of little guys?
You can pick which one of those fits better for you. When I have described a bunch of little guys, I have used Lego as an example. Okay. So you could absolutely be a little bunch of Lego for sure.
I'll be a bunch of little guys then.
There you go, a bunch of little guys. All right.
I'd really like to see some of that jury rig move and like kind of see it more in action because it didn't happen too much in the game I ran. And this was like 2 years ago that I ran
Yeah.
this. So I think, I'm looking at doing the doll face just to, kind of, it looks like a good way of playing with the mechanic. And I'm still a little unsure of what a good example of that would be. That's not just Barbie. Because, I feel like playing something a little bit different than just, the Barbie dream, car, whatever it is.
Well, any hard plastic doll with a face with a so any action figure
Okay.
would work.
I mean this in the nicest way possible, not to touch on the hairstyle, but Mr. Potato Head would probably be a type of like hard plastic doll.
Yeah, Mr. Potato Head would be fine.
Toy Story. But.
I wasn't going to take that as a comment on my personal appearance until you said that.
Oh.
It's okay.
I think it looks great, David.
Does that help you?
Oh, no, yes, that does.
Okay. All right.
So I have a question. What I'm interested in right now, I think, is playing one of those animatronic stuffed bears, sort of like a Teddy Ruxpin or a Wobby Bear or something like that.
Okay.
Would that be a batteries not included or a doll face? That would be Mekka, right?
I would assume it's Mekka, but that one's kind of a hybrid, so you get to pick.
Okay.
If I wanted to play a Teddy Ruxpin, I would probably make it batteries not included.
Okay.
Yeah, and I might even include my fur as one of my parts.
Ooh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think I'll probably include something like a card slot or something like that as one of the parts where you can add new stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like that. Cool.
Yeah, interesting. I was thinking of playing a Mekka no strings attached.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking like a tomcat with boots, right?
Okay.
That kind of.
Yeah, I like a Puss in Boots kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think I have this, and this is going to make everyone super sad. I'm going to be a classic Star Wars action figure.
Are you
one of the one? Like I think Lando Calrissian, just in terrible, like original run in terrible condition.
Well played condition.
Just
like
because
box?
that's gonna.
Box?
Yes.
What box? I don't have a box.
Actually, I think that's gonna be one of my parts. Is I'm dragging around the water damage, stained remnants of my packaging.
Remains of your box. Okay.
Just insisting it was still a collector's item.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. All right.
Everyone's going with Mekkas, so and my initial just the choice between the Mekka, the sock, and the Softie, I was drawn towards sock. Like, and I just think that's so great. So I'm glad that there's plenty of space. And just thinking about, I guess, something that might be generally useful. The tights look interesting and sort of fun to play. I also happen to be a Gemini, I guess. So I don't buy into horoscope stuff at all. But I guess I could sort of play that dual type, a two-headed character at odds with itself, and be my own best friend. That kind of sounds interesting to me. So
okay,
let's go with the tights.
Tights it is. That's great because tights is actually one of the character forms that never got play tested. So fun. And all right, guys. All right. So, so taking a look at your playbook sheet, you will need to pick a name and your pronoun for your character. And again, one of the things about Threadbare is that we're all toys, so gender is not something that you inherently probably ever have. So if you you can be male, you can be female, you can be non-binary, you can be gender fluid. It's all fine, and you get to pick your pronoun. You can pick any pronoun that we can pronounce. Since this is a live game, that would be helpful. But otherwise, whatever works for you. And then you also pick, so based on your character form, it will tell you what your moves are. One of your moves will be based on Mekka or Softie or Sock. I think we don't have any Softies, so it'll just be Mekka and Sock. And then the other, and you have a friendship move, which is how you build ties with other characters. And then you have the what happens on a 6 or less move, and that gives you a hold that you can use for something else. So, for example, I think a bunch of little guys, if you roll a 6 or less, you get a hold that you can use later to. It's sort of like your little guy gave recon, gave intel when they got lost. So it kind of gives you just a little bit extra of something. So go ahead and pick those out and jot them down, and then I would say update your lower third if everyone could use your lower third in the toolbox, but also because the lower third is really small for me to read, if you can also just like tell me.
Yeah, I've actually been having trouble with lower third like all weekend. I just haven't been able to get it popped up. So
okay.
It's been functioning weird for a while for me. So I'm not sure what I need to do to get that back running again.
Okay. Well then just tell us.
Yeah. Okay. Were you looking just for your name, pronoun, and
name, pronoun? Yeah, pretty much. And then we'll get into what you guys look like, what parts you have, and so forth. Threadbare character creation is it's pretty quick. There aren't a lot of things to pick from, and then we'll get into stats because there's 3. You have 3 stats to pick.
So I'm Lan. I'm a Mekka dollface. And my pronouns are male. Him, his, him, his. He, him, his. Yeah.
Okay. Lan. All right.
I'll be playing as Foreman Jane, and she is the miniature figurine that guides the will of these collection of blocks.
Great. Okay.
And I'm going to play Wobby Bear, which goes by he, him. And I'll update my lower third at some point whenever I can drop off and join back.
Okay. Does yours not update?
Yeah, I found out this weekend that if I mistakenly hit enter whenever I'm done typing, it locks it. So, but if I exit and rejoin, I think it'll come back in.
Okay. And you said your pronoun is he?
He, yes.
Okay.
I might give that a try. Dropping out and coming back in.
Maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
just don't hit enter. Was my problem. Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever tried lower third. Did that show up all right?
Sure did.
Yep.
Perfect.
I apologize for that picture. It's a little old, but I'm lazy.
And you are checkers?
Yeah, I'm checkers, named for the pattern, which would be some sort of gaudy looking checkered pattern. I was thinking maybe red and black. And being two, of course, they just go by they. And they sometimes get into arguments over over it, but it probably won't come up.
Okay. And Matthias?
Yeah, I'm playing Art, and Art is I do have a picture here. I was thinking in that direction. Basically a string puppet.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's great.
Yeah, highly inflammable and stuff.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Great. And then if you guys can, so then we take a look at the stats. So there are 3 stats. There's scrounge, which is your ability to find stuff and repair yourself, and repair others, and build stuff and make things. So like David, I know that you said that you wanted to explore the jury rig rules a little bit more, so you might want to give Lan a higher stat in that. And then there's smiles, which is your ability to make friends. And kind of sometimes it's intimidate or stand up to somebody, because you, as you can see in the basic moves, like sort of the intimidate is stand up to a bully, and so that's the that's a good one if you want to be a little more social and talky, so to speak. And then there's strong arm, and strong arm is kind of a weird stat, because in a non-combat game, strength is a stat that doesn't get used a lot. So strong arm is a combination of how well do you push things around, like if you have to move something that is bigger than you. But it's also how much influence meta influence, I guess, can you have over the world. And for example, rather than figure stuff out by asking the GM questions about the situation, instead you tell me something about the situation and you roll strong arm, and if it's a hit, what you said is true. So the best example I have of this is the one I put in my book, which was, we were playing a game with my sister and her daughter and her daughter's friends, and they were in a machine and they needed to get from here to there, and they were like hurtling, and then there was like a chasm in between that they hadn't seen originally. I think it was Furry Road, might have been the adventure. And my sister said, my niece said, okay, well, we need to like jury rig a ramp or something right away, because impending doom if we go off the edge. And another one of them said, oh my gosh, my China doll character is going to break into a million pieces when we land. And my sister said, if we all hold our breaths, we can float. The machine will float. And I was like, okay, let's roll to see if that's true. And she rolled like a 12, and she was like, it is true. I was like, yes, it is. So they all like collectively, and I made them as players do it, they all held their breaths, and I described them sailing over, and like halfway through, just for dramatic tension, I was like, and you hover there in the air, and it wobbles, and then they made it to the other side, and there was much rejoicing. But I was like, this is a fantastical world. There's no reason why we can't say that works. Maybe it's magic. Maybe it's that the world, the chemistry of the air has, maybe there's more helium now. I don't know. We don't know. So, so yeah, it's kind of a, the laws of physics aren't quite as firm in the world of Threadbare as they might be here. So, and that's okay. Strong arm is your ability to push those around a little bit. And I think you have a, what is it? -1, +1, 0, +2, -1.
+2, +1, -1.
Ah, see? Thank you. I should really open the book and have it handy. Open the playbook section so that we can. There we go. Yes. So assign a -2 or -1, a +1, and a +2 to those as you see fit. And then the last thing that you'll need to do is pick your parts. And each character form has up to a certain number of starting parts, and there's a list of suggestions. You are not limited to those suggestions, and you can have fewer than your maximum. You can also if something like if your parts don't seem to make sense to you, like we can work with that. Man, that's awesome. This is the one you owned as a kid and did not take care of, you know. Yes, of course. My best friend had that one, by the way, as well, and we did not take care of it either. What box? What are you talking about? There was a box?
Yes. I didn't even have the helmet for mine.
Yeah. Right. And your parts can include your standard like physical body parts, but they can also include personality quirks, things that you know that you don't mind losing. And sometimes people are like, I don't want to lose any part of my knowledge or personality. That's fine. Just don't write it down as a part. But if you're kind of like, I have a favorite color, it's a defining trait that is okay if it changes during this game. You know, that's okay. It gets a little abstract when we do jury rig and stuff, but it could just be like, I have a favorite color. I lost my favorite color. You know, I don't know what blue is anymore. And then later on, somebody slaps a coat of red paint on you. You're like, I have a new favorite color, you know. So like you can be a little playful with that too. If there is something that you want to describe as your character having or being or you know as part of their body or personality that you don't want to have you want it to not be able to be damaged or lost. Go ahead and write it on your character sheet as description, but not as a part. Okay. So basically, your individual parts are like your hit points, and and you know, if there's some part of your description that is like, no, I have this really fancy cape. I never want it to be lost. Okay, you have the fancy cape, and it is immune from damage. It cannot be lost. It cannot be damaged. That's also handy if you're the kind of if you picked a character form that would normally have a whole bunch of parts, and you're like I can only have 12. What do you mean? You know, like especially a bunch of little guys, the Lego. You know, you might have like 50 parts of Lego, but in this case, only 10 of them have you know individualization and can be lost. Also, with a bunch of little guys, it's okay if you just say, I have 10 of me and I'll name them later. You don't have to like detail each one in this particular moment if you don't want to. Yeah.
Where does it say how many parts we start out with?
Oh, so on the playbook on the second page, there's kind of a longer description of the form. Oh, gosh, I hope that's on the PDF. It occurs to me I haven't looked at those PDFs. Yeah, 2 per playbook. So on the second, so for example, the first page of the Mekka playbook has like the your form, pick one, see next page. The second page will tell you can have at the end of each paragraph, you can have up to 7 starting parts. Suggestions: head, arms, legs, body, outfit, hair, accessories, name them, and a list of things I collect. Those are suggested parts.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. And let me know when you guys are all done with character parts and stuff. Wabi. You know, David said that that Matthias's cat puppet was the 5th most frightening thing he's ever seen, but I think this stuffed bear just went up in that ranking, because look at those eyes, right?
Those are some eyes there. Actually, I think this creepier thing is those eyebrows. They're like,
Yeah, it's the eyebrows. This bear is like, I'm gonna get you. And it talks to your kids in your, is this in your voice? Stephen, you are muted.
Sorry, I had too many mutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this is a real product, and I think it will actually talk in your voice. And what it does is you send you log in on your phone or something like that, and it will record things, and then this creepy little bear will talk to your kids in your voice.
It's terrifying.
Yes.
The Wabi messaging bear.
But I don't know if it actually made it to be a product.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's made by the same guys, the same company that made the Teddy Ruxpin.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
that explains a lot.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I hear somebody has hacked the Teddy Ruxpin to have Bluetooth. So you can like play music through it or something. I don't. All right. Okay, so everybody have their parts written down and all their stats and everything picked. Cool. All right, let's get started. So, I do not have a handout of this. Do I have a handout of this? Hold on a second. Let me see if I've got a handout of this.
Couple of questions from the sheets, I guess. I have stuff checkbox. What is that for?
Okay, so when you need to do a jury rig, you need to have stuff. Inventory in Threadbare is really basic. You either have stuff or you don't have stuff. We're going to start out not having stuff, so you'll have to find stuff if you want to do a repair. And then there are things with the capital T, and things are named things, objects, usually like a tool or a device or something that is, among other things, it's not attached to you, it's not sentient, and it's usually something that you can use to do stuff. So on your character sheet or whatever, you might have to write down when you get a thing. But if it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like scrounge around and pick up some things, some stuff to do this repair, when you succeed at finding it, you just check it off and you've got stuff. And when you use it up, then you use it up. And it's very streamlined for how kind of currency or material, this and that works. At some point, you can actually turn stuff into things when you're making a thing, and you use up your stuff, and you made a thing out of it, and you have to name the thing. So, does that help?
Yes. That
also, by default, because this is a one-shot, everybody has one tie with everybody else. So, just when the basic move to help someone, you roll plus your ties. Everyone by default has one tie to start out with everybody else. It just makes it easier for running a one-shot game. Okay, so who has the Stephen, you're also on mute again. Who has the PDF? Okay, can one of you with the PDF open it up and go to page?
Oh, you mean not the player handouts things?
No,
like,
the the PDF of the book.
Yeah. Okay.
So who has the PDF of the book?
I do. Is it page 13?
Page 13. Page 13 talks about ties.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we don't have to do. We don't have to deal with ties. No. This has to do with the adventure. Page 65.
Oh, okay.
If you can like open that up and just use like scratch paper or whatever to make notes, and be our scribe, that would be really great. It's page 65 in the PDF. But so we're gonna play Flight of the Bumblebee, and what we do now is we make the bumblebee. So let me get our lead in here. Flying far above the ground, you and your friends are on a mission to scout the land ahead, so that the hive, trundling along behind you, can traverse it. You are scouts for the hive, which is a community that is currently moving en masse from one place to another. So many toys are involved. The hive cannot make quick movements like changing course or stopping. At nightfall, the hive groups together to rest for the evening, make those course corrections, and allow stragglers to catch up. As a result, you must return by midnight to make your report, or the hive will consider you lost and will change course to avoid your last known position. So, taking a look at the Bumblebee's reference sheet, which David will have here. And I'll just go around. Let's see here. Foreman Jane. The Bumblebee uses for fuel one of the following: butterfly wings, vegetable oil, candles, or sugar.
Oh, it's got to be sugar.
It's got to be sugar. All right. And just quick background. I love your minifig. That's great. Just for quick background, there are no humans left in the world of Threadbare. Like, we don't even usually ask where they went. We just inherited this world. It's ours now. Some people like kind of question. Some people or some characters may have been awake beforehand, but most toys woke up afterwards. So, and there really aren't even that many animals. So yeah. So sugar is an interesting. It's an interesting source of fuel. Okay, David. The hive needs, pick one: room to grow, fuel, answers to a question, a new leader, supplies for making things, or more population.
Ooh, I think either a new leader or answers to a question.
Well, what does the rest of the group think? Does anyone have an opinion on those two?
Let's go with a question.
That's the one I was leaning towards.
Okay. What's the question?
Why did we come alive?
Why are we alive? Okay. All right. Checkers. The Bumblebee, that's the craft that you are in, the vehicle you are in, belongs to, pick one: the hive, one of us, all of us, Happy Joker, a tough guy in the hive, or Penelope Punch, an independent business person who is not from the hive.
Let's go. I'm just leaning towards all of us. Let's give us kind of a reason to stick together here, and I'm kind of thinking that with a group of 5 players, NPCs might just kind of clutter things up a little bit. But
absolutely,
they can still be a thing. But I found that with 5-player games, it's already bursting with personality.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Wobby Bear. The Hive is best known for, pick one, generosity, greed, beautiful art, crime, literacy, or, and this is my favorite typo in the entire book, fantasism.
I like literacy.
Yeah, by default, the toys are illiterate, so you guys are not. And that means that you can automatically put on your character sheet that you have literacy. It is an upgrade.
Is that like a part?
It's an extra part. Yep. All right. Ought. The Hive is led by, pick one, a single competent leader, a council or senate, a few big gangs, neighborhood watch groups.
Oh, neighborhood watch groups.
Okay.
Like,
Great. All right. Okay, and then let's talk about so for stats. Fuel starts at 2. We have lift, maneuverable, speed, and fuel. And fuel starts at 2, and it goes down based on basically when you miss with rolls for the bumblebee. So lift is when you try to stay aloft in the face of a challenge. You roll plus lift. Maneuverable is when you try to dodge an obstacle or remain in place. You roll plus maneuverable. And speed is when you try to outrun someone or something. You roll plus speed. And both maneuverable and speed will reduce your fuel as you go. When your fuel reaches -1, you roll plus lift to glide to a landing without anyone taking damage. And if you just want to land, I actually have a roll here, but I don't think you have to roll to land if you're not in a chase, in danger, or if you're at negative fuel. So we'll skip that one. All right, so as a group, you guys have to decide, and these sort of stack. So maybe it can help you guys decide. And you get to pick 3. So it's kind of like you get to put 3 points in your stats. You can fly really high, which would give you a +1 to lift, or you can add on. You can ride the wind when the fuel is at 0, which would give you another +1 to lift. You can move sideways to give you +1 to maneuverable. You could upgrade maneuverable to be able to hover, which would give you a +2 to maneuverable. You can outrun a fast bird, which would give you a +1 to speed. Or you can upgrade that to outrun a storm, which would give you another +1 to speed. So basically, you can kind of have 3 points to distribute between lift, maneuverable, and speed with a maximum of +2. And this is for you guys to discuss because it will affect all of you. To talk a little bit about the bumblebee as a craft.
I don't really like the idea of being eaten by a giant bird. Maybe we should at least put 1 point there. What do you think?
That sounds good.
I kind of like the idea of getting all the way up to being able to hover because that just sounds cool, but I'm not completely sold on that.
That's what bumblebees are known for.
It's true. Okay. So you would sort of be a low flying craft, but you'd have high maneuverability. And be pretty speedy. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, sounds good.
I hope we have a good pilot.
We're just gonna bumble around, not really fly so much.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. All right. I think David, you're the scribe, right? So go ahead and put 2 in maneuverable and 1 in speed for everybody.
Oh, and I posted the Google Doc then tracking all of this on.
Oh, terrific. All right. All righty. And then let's talk a little bit about the bumblebee's parts. So, what does the bumblebee look like? And there are some suggestions, but you guys can kind of go crazy with it. The suggestions are like wings and legs, a striped body, could have a stinger rudder, antenna, telescoping eyes, whatever you want.
I like the idea that it's a kite.
Okay.
You know, it has parts that are like a kite. What do you guys think?
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, it's like
All
one
right.
of those kites that actually looks like a bee, and then we just added parts on top of it to like make it like actually like beat its wings really fast.
Okay.
Hmm.
Maybe there's multiple parts to it, so maybe there's like a plane or something as well that's pulling it up and that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. So does it have a tail? Because it's a kite.
I think it's got that kite tail kind of
Yeah.
flying behind it for sure.
Okay. What other parts?
I think it's got a couple of big googly eyes on springs, sort of coming from the top that sort of bounce around as it flies around.
Okay.
Antenna, maybe not googly eyes, but or maybe they're painted black, so they're just antenna.
Yeah, like a couple separate things, like maybe the antenna are one thing, and the big googly eyes are sort of like more like windshields.
Oh yeah.
What do people think of, giving it a sense of whimsy as a part? Actually, like, because it's kind of a toy too. Maybe the
Okay.
bumblebee is like,
So Bumblebee is alive.
yeah, maybe. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Especially if that's the part that becomes damaged. It's like, oh no.
Oh
no
no, it's your
longer
friend.
a whimsical kite.
Yeah.
All right. Sense of whimsy. It is alive. Okay. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4 parts. I've got the kite, the tail, the googly eyes, and the sense of whimsy.
How many was
You
it
get 5.
supposed to have?
You get 5. Maximum.
The big eyeball windshield things kind of seem interesting, like something neat could happen with them, but I'm open to other suggestions.
Because we already do have the eyes there.
Don't we need
Oh,
like a
googly
basket?
eyes.
Where...
Sorry. Yeah, I thought that had been changed a bit to the like antenna, but I can go either way.
Doesn't it need like a basket where like we actually sit in underneath the kite?
Ooh, that's good.
Okay. Basket for passengers. All righty. Great. Cool. All righty. So let's talk a little bit about the adventure. Lan, how many days has the hive been traveling so far?
So I think we forgot to start counting when we first set out. But since we have started counting, it's day 13.
At least 13 days. Okay. And Lan, why are you, and this could be a, why are you as a group, since you all own the bumblebee, why are you associated with the hive?
Me personally, I think the hive was the one who like got me out of like the broken display where I was
Okay.
locked up before before all this happened.
Okay. And Checkers, why are you associated with the hive?
especially with this particular group, I know that my role is to be a helper, and so I think it's just their helpful nature.
Helpful nature. Okay. Wabi Bear.
Yeah. I think that I was wandering around by myself before I came to the hive, and I was mute. And once I joined the hive, they found a way to fix me so that I could speak again.
Excellent. All right. Ott.
I think because the hive's been traveling, they found me hanging from like a branch, all tangled up in my strings.
Okay.
And yeah, and I think I volunteered for doing scouting afterwards.
Okay. And Foreman Jane.
Well, this here hive has hired me to do some construction projects, and I don't reckon I'm going to let them down.
Okay. All right. Hired as for construction. Cool. All right. Checkers. Is this job considered dangerous?
I guess nothing's really without danger, right? But other than that, it's not particularly. How about that?
Okay. All right. And Wabi, what will you get in exchange for scouting?
So personally, Wabi's out there to explore the world. He wants to see new things. But I think in general, the scouts get first pick of the scrounge that they find.
Okay. First pick of stuff. Okay. All right. Ott. Which part of the bumblebee is currently broken?
I think it's tail. We have trouble with basically maneuverability, or well, with stability rather than maneuverability.
Maybe that's why you guys can't get much lift.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the tail. All right. And how did it break?
We were overzealous on going on the mission, so basically it was still tied up, like right. Back in the hive, everything was neatly placed down and stuff and tucked away, and we were like, yeah, let's go on a mission. And
so like
it might have been Art who like, okay, I'm gonna unfasten everything, and that's the thing.
I see. So Ott sort of was a little forgetful and during the takeoff checklist. Yeah. Okay. All right. And Checkers. No, Foreman Jane. Who's chasing you?
Oh boy. I didn't expect that we'd actually be chased by real bumblebees.
Real bumblebees. Okay. What do they want?
Who's to say? Maybe they're after our sweet sugar and our fuel tanks.
After the sugar. All right. So the real bumblebees, which have inexplicably escaped the apocalypse, are chasing you. Maybe they're not real bumblebees.
Ooh, from a distance, that's how they appear. But
yes. Certainly, they're not toy bumblebees like you guys are in. All right, so you guys are in fact on the move, and you are being chased by bumblebees, a swarm even of bees that are chasing you down. What do you guys do?
We gotta batten down the hatches. Those bees are gonna get all up in our honey. Need some help.
Test out this thing's speed.
Okay.
May as well burn the fuel before letting the bees get to it.
Before the bees can get to it. All right.
Go to
all right,
light
so-
speed.
Light speed. Yes, Lan. All right. So, who wants to roll for the bumblebee in this case? Who is all speed ahead?
I can do that. Yeah, no, Lando's totally the pilot. Or Lan's
Okay,
totally
so
the
Lan is the
Definitely.
pilot of this vessel. So, all right.
Even if he's not actually piloting, he's insisting that he is.
That he's the
because,
pilot. Okay. So go ahead and roll plus speed, which is, I think, for the bumblebee +1.
Yep. We got an 11.
Sweet. All right. So you guys easily are outpacing the swarm of bees behind you. But so they're not going to catch you. But eventually, you will need to slow down. Do you guys want to do anything to lose them? I mean, it's, we'll say this is a little bit of a wasteland. It's kind of open terrain, so outrunning them is easy, but
Mhm.
So
what are you gonna
we're
do?
pretty low to the ground. I'm gonna keep my eyes out from the basket below to see if there's anything that we might be able to distract these bees with.
Okay, all right. Let's go a step further. Is there something for you to distract the bees with?
After we travel for a little while, we're traveling at a breakneck speed, and I think after we travel for a little bit, I see an old candy store,
Oh,
and
okay.
that might
Ooh.
actually attract the bees. Yeah.
All right. And hey, it could also be a place where you guys can pick up some extra fuel if you wanted to, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. We,
All right,
we could get some Skittles.
You could get some Skittles. Taste
Yeah,
the
I
rainbow.
imagine like just dumping a bag of Skittles into the tank.
All right, so go ahead and roll your strong arm. Let's see if that's let's see if that's really a candy store that you saw there or something else.
Sure thing. That is an 8.
An 8. Okay, so so you do see that it's the you can read. So it does say that it is the Candy Emporium. And you can see as you're kind of banking closer towards it, there's something moving inside.
I tell I yell up to the top of the bumblebee. I say, "Hey, there's a candy store over there. We should get down there and see if we can get some more fuel. Be careful, someone might have beaten us there."
Okay. So what do you guys do?
Might be just the thing we need to shake these bees off our tail.
I mean, they might not be too happy if we bring all those bees with us. If they live there.
To the candy store?
Yeah.
Possibly.
We
But
can
that-
always warn them that the bees are coming.
This is true.
Good point.
Sounds mighty polite.
Let's go down and warn them.
Let's warn them that we're bringing the bees with us. All right, so so you guys, you're no longer actually being in hot pursuit. So you make it to the candy store, and you are able to land. And so there you are. You're outside a candy store, and now what? You can definitely see there are. It's kind of like the windows. The glass is still intact, but it's like kind of frosted, so you can't really see clearly what's inside, but you can see like shapes and silhouettes.
I've got a bad feeling about this. One of my parts is a sense of nostalgia.
No kidding.
I think Art would just straight up head towards it.
Okay.
With that flapping
Okay.
feet, right?
Yep. All right.
Uh,
I don't know if anybody's
Lando.
joining.
Yeah, I'll come. So, one hand I've got my blaster, and the other hand I've got my the remains of my packaging, and I'm hopping over because Lando's already missing a leg.
Okay.
I want to help.
Okay.
We want to help.
You went down. All right. All right. Is anybody staying back with the bumblebee?
Y'all mind your manners, and I'll sit in here and do some maintenance.
Okay. Are some of you going with?
So it sounds like Foreman Jane might be the only one staying behind.
Okay. I was asking, are some of Foreman Jane going with, or
Oh, no, I think we're all working together here on the.
you're all working together? All right. So Foreman Jane.
In that case, Wobby Bear will also go inside. He wanted to make sure Foreman Jane wasn't by herself, but if she's got all of her parts, then that's good.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thanks, Wobby. You're a good friend.
So Foreman Jane, you and Bumblebee staying behind. Bumblebee doesn't really talk because you guys didn't give them a voice, but Bumblebee likes to play games. So they kind of tip you out of the basket to play hide and seek.
Oh.
You guys gave it a sense of whimsy.
Probably we're on the clock here. This ain't no time for fun and games. Oh, gotta wait till the whistle bell.
The kite fabric kind of droops a little bit, and it just settles down on the ground. The rest of you head in towards the candy store, and you do see like the door is cracked open, just like about that much. So more than enough for most of you to get through, I think. Wobby Bear might be the only one who needs to squeeze.
Yeah, so I think Wobby Bear will wait for everyone else to kind of go in, and then kind of push at the door a little bit to see if he can get it wide enough that he can squeeze in.
Okay, that is strong arm. Unless you want some help from a tights.
I would
Checkers.
love to help, actually. I think my right leg, Alex, volunteers themselves, and I have a special helping move. When I help someone, I get to treat a 7 to 9 like a 10+. So, unfortunately, I don't have any other socks to get advantage with. But
That's true. But,
so do I? This is always kind of a thing that comes up in any kind of aid move. Do I roll before, after? Or,
you roll before. Yep. Okay. In this case, and yes. Sorry.
My dice are hot. I got a 5 and a 6, and my strong arm, which is my best stat, is the +2. So.
It's not strong arm. It's actually plus ties for helping. So in this case, it's a +1 because everybody has one tie with everybody else.
Okay.
All right, but you definitely helped. So, and why don't you decide which of the helper abilities or helper options you want to use? And for those. Choose 3 from grant a +1 on their next move. Take the consequences of a failure on their next move for yourself. Nothing breaks as a result of your help, or someone else can help too. Point to the next helper.
I'll just take I do not want to take the consequences for myself, so I'm going to take the other 3. And the next helper, I guess we're all kind of right up there.
Except Foreman Jane. Except Foreman Jane.
Yeah. Could we just kind of hold off on that to see if we need it, or would I want?
No, it's whoever. It's if they don't want to help, that's fine. But this is like, yeah, we chain off how many helpers, and then Wobby Bear will roll.
Simply because I haven't jotted down David's character name.
Lan.
It was, what was it?
Lan.
Lan. Oh, of course, duh. Okay. And while I'm at it, Steven, your character? If you speak,
It's
it'll
Wobby.
show up on your...
Wobby Bear.
Swabby. Okay.
You know, the stuffed bear that talks to your kids.
What could go wrong?
Oh, what could possibly go? Okay. All right.
Yeah, Lan, give us a hand here.
Yeah, I think the way I'm imagining this is we kind of loop checkers, kind of over the door handle, and I'm like helping tug it open to pull the door more.
Okay.
And this is plus ties.
Plus ties, so +1.
That's a 10.
Great. All right. So again, you get to pick 3 from the
Okay, and
list
this
from
is-
Help Someone.
This is on the basic moves,
It's
right?
in the basic moves. Help someone. Yep.
Here we go. I'm gonna do +1 to their next move, and nothing breaks.
And nothing breaks. And
Oh.
you get to pick 3. So
Oh, I get 3. Let's continue chaining this. So,
sure.
So Ott gets to help as well.
All right. Do you want to help?
I think Odd has kind of already passed you and headed inwards, and didn't really have the frame of mind to pay attention if everybody could get through.
Okay.
So sorry about that.
Oh, no,
All right.
that's fine.
All right, that's cool. So Wobby Bear, so you can opt out of helping. That's fine. Wobby Bear, you have a +2 on your roll too. That's fine, considering how well the dice are treating you guys. Like maybe opting out and not risking that 6 or less is a good idea.
Actually, funny that you should say that. I rolled snake eyes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so with your strong arm and the +2, that is probably still not going to
Yeah, that's a
make
failure.
it. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. So you break something on yourself.
So what's that going to be? I think. So I kind of like the idea that this was some fur. So some fur gets ripped as I'm trying to get inside, and it kind of peels off.
Okay. Sounds good. And so you are like your fur rips, and did you take the consequences onto yourself?
no, I did not.
No, you did not. Okay, so all the consequences are still going to land on Wobby Bear. The door does, however, swing wide open, and Wobby Bear, you see inside as the door is pulled wide open. You see a number of moving furry bears, and they all turn and look at you as one.
I think I raise my hand and go, "Hi, how are you?"
And they kind of like narrow their eyes at you, and one of them turns to the other and says, "What is that?"
Oh, these are pretentious bears.
You had just come in to this to the candy store, and but they hadn't seen you yet before the door was opened. So
Yeah.
So do you want to have kind of hidden or anything like that?
Yeah. Like as a cat does, right? Looking to walk along the walls. That's the first thing. This is a new place.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're right. It's a new place. You walk around the wall. I think my cat spent 3 weeks doing that when we first got him. Okay, cool. All right. So so for those of you that are in the crosshairs of the Pretentious Bear Club,
Worst club ever.
So yeah, they all like kind of glare at you and what is this thing? They're talking to you, Bobby, or about you.
Oh, I think I kind of, since they didn't say hi back, I think I kind of sit down there in the open door and kind of pout a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
They kind of move closer towards you, and you see it's like about a half a dozen bears in different colors.
I'm not okay with this. They look like they're bullying my friend here. I'm gonna look fierce.
Okay. All right. So that's plus smile, I believe. Yeah.
It's plus strong arm.
Oh, it's plus strong arm. Okay. So go ahead and roll to stand up to these bullies.
That's a 10.
10. Okay.
So I think I go. He's my friend. Pew pew.
Pew pew. Okay. So they had come over to Wabi Bear and they were kind of starting to sort of circle him and make comments about him that were not nice. Like, oh, what is that thing? It's not one of ours. It looks like it's made of metal. I mean, just really like mean things, right? And so Lan, you come over and like do you get in front of him?
Yeah, I'm like, you're not going to be messing with my buddy Wabi Bear, and I fire a warning shot. Pew pew.
Right, right. Warning shot, which I assume is just the pew pew sound, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And they kind of look at you and they sort of back off and they're like, huh. So what do you want?
Stuff. Sugar.
Sugar, huh? One of them like looks at the other. Oh, got that packet of Fun Dip. Yeah. And oddly, even though they're paws, right? They snap. Get the Fun Dip for this one. And they drag over a packet of like the Fun Dip that you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like we're all old enough to have had this when we were like kids, where it's got the sugar and the sugar dipper, that thing's long gone. Like who knows? But the packets are still there. They drag one over and kind of lay it down. Is that enough? Like this is a candy store.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say no. Because
it's things like these that I'm glad that there's like a tone discussion and X card because sometimes I just want to do something a little bit out there, like you got to test its quality first, man. Do a line of sugar.
No, I can't touch this because sugar will get into my joints and that's going to affect my collector's value.
Sure, yeah, right. So meanwhile, back at the Bumblebee, Foreman Jane, you and the Bumblebee are, you're hanging out. You're keeping an eye. Are you building stuff out of yourself?
I wipe my brow with a little scrap of handkerchief and I say, "Oh, all right. I think that's just about enough for now, Bumblebee. You can go ahead and relax now. Sorry about all that."
Okay. So you guys did not play hide and go seek then?
Not yet, but I haven't heard any sign of those bees. I think they might have gotten maybe waylaid.
See, and just as you say that, you hear the buzzing drone of a swarm of bees approaching rapidly.
I kind of look around back and forth. I say, uh-oh, Bumblebee, maybe we should go play hide and seek. You go hide somewhere safe, and I'll come find you. But make sure the bees don't first, because then Then they win.
The bumblebee, the kite fabric kind of flutters a little bit, and then it takes off into the air, and you see that it's heading towards like the roof of the candy store.
Okay. I want to start like building something that like would attract the bees, like a trap, like maybe like a honey pot.
Honey pot, flower.
A flower, very good. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a
All
big
right.
plastic flower.
Big plastic flower. And you do that because I mean you don't need to make a roll for basically performing a function of your very self. And the bees, as they come closer, you start to notice something about them, which is, first of all, they're flying in formation. And you, since the hive is known for literacy, you have read books. And usually, like a swarm is like, it's a swarm. It's, you know, they're like, they're always drawn as like kind of a, like almost like a comet, right?
Right. This looks more like a flock of geese than
Does.
than a swarm of bees.
Well, it looks more like a phalanx of airplanes in like old, you know, well, you wouldn't have necessarily seen an old movie, but
I remember
yeah.
this from that book about World War III.
Yeah. Right. Oh, there weren't that many books written after World War III. But yeah, like it's you know, it's like aerial formation, you know, just like ranks and ranks of planes, or in this case bees.
I don't know if this flower is going to be much of a bullseye target for him then. Oh man. Maybe we better be prepared for a bombing run than a buzzing run.
Yeah, they're going to drop little droplets of honey on you.
I kind of like take down the flower and I turn it into like a little car and I like zoom back towards the candy shop.
Okay.
You know, those buzzers are turning out to be more like buzzards. Y'all, we gotta be prepared. I'm kind of like shouting. I don't know if they can hear me or not.
Okay. Well, you arrive and that's basically the rest of you guys. You hear Foreman Jane shouting this as they drive in.
All right, time for looks like we got to get out of here, and I wanted to. I think this makes sense. If I saw the direction where the fun dip packets were, I might just try to make a bolt for them, or certainly like use my kind of do my thing with the catch something and hold on to it.
Okay.
Oh, well, I only get that hold on a miss.
That's right.
So I can't do that.
That's right. So I think Wobby Bear is the only one who's missed so far. Which reminds me, Wobby Bear, make sure you made a note that you had a hold and what you can do with your hold.
I did. What I can do with my hold is stay motionless and silent for some period of time.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's the stealth move.
That's right.
Which may be useful here. I don't know.
So I think in this case, you know, as we see Foreman Jane come driving up, I think we say, "Oh yeah, they're bees. The bees have been flying around. That they want to steal all the sugar."
So you're like warning the pretentious bears?
Yes.
Okay. So they back up even more and they're like, "Not our sugar. This is ours. They can't have our sugar." And they start kind of like quarreling over what they're going to do about that. Well, can we just give them a fun dip packet to go away like we did these losers? Which is sort of funny since, you know, not only are you still there, right? But you haven't left yet. It hasn't worked.
So Foreman Jane, I think, she wants to get a handle on the situation. This is chaos. She says, "All right, y'all. The only way we're going to be able to stay safe is if we work together. We got to be a crew.
Stick together.
So,
Sorry,
or
Lego
stick
Movie is
together.
one of my favorite movies.
So you squabbling bears over there. We gotta get to work. We gotta go and secure the windows and lock the door and
Okay.
et
And
cetera.
et cetera, et
Beat
cetera.
the Empire.
And defeat the Empire. Okay, so you guys start like making preparations. Is that yeah? And
Yeah.
Wabi, are you gonna go into stealth mode?
No, I think I'm just going to come into the store.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of
Close the
envisioned you
door,
guys
but-
had kind of, come in a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. I think
All
I
right.
just plop down there in the doorway, and I think I actually get up and go inside so we can close the door and it's secure it against the bees.
Okay. And Checkers, you were gonna make kind of a run for the sugar packets.
Yeah, it seems like that was not quite as necessary as I thought, so I'll just back away from that.
No,
I don't mind a contingency plan there, Checkers.
Do it. Do it.
I mean, if anyone can make a run for it, you can. So, because pair of tights, right? So, go ahead and roll to find something.
Okay.
Lounge.
I would like to help with that. Like
Okay.
already having scouted ahead.
Okay.
Maybe
So
seeing
go ahead
checkers
and-
come around the corner and say,
Roll
"It's
ahead.
not over here."
Cool. So roll plus your ties for.
I'm much better at helping if you actually have a decent scrounge. Mine is at -1, so I'd much rather roll at +1 and have no. You're
I'm
also
bad
at
at
-1.
this.
Okay.
Well, okay then. Let's
All right.
just make.
So maybe this will just
I want to miss anyway, so
All right,
that way
so,
I can do my
so-
thing. So there we go.
let Ott help you first.
Oh yeah.
So Ott, go ahead and help.
Oh, that's an 11. So
Okay. So pick your 3 and
I'm granting you +1. Yeah, but you wanted to potentially take the failure, right? So I'm not taking that away from you. Nothing breaks. Someone
Okay.
else could help if they wanted to.
Of course, I want to take on the failure.
All right. We'll say that in this case, everybody else is kind of busy and running around, so you can't get another helper in on this. So go ahead, Checkers. Go ahead and roll.
5 and a 3 with -1 +1, so that is just an 8.
It's an 8. Okay. So for find something, you get
Pick
to
one.
pick one. It's exactly what you were looking for. So it would be another packet of Fun Dip. It isn't dangerous, or nobody else wants it.
I think it's fairly clear that the bears would want it, so nobody else wants it seems dubious. And I don't know, maybe exactly what I was looking for isn't the best thing. So let's just go with it isn't dangerous.
It isn't dangerous, but it wasn't another packet of Fun Dip for sure. Okay, so you go scattering around, and Ott helps you find something. So check off that you have stuff, and if you want to convert that stuff into a specific thing, we can do that. But otherwise, it can just be some stuff that you've picked up, and you can decide later what stuff it is. The only thing it wouldn't be able to be is Fun Dip. Or inherently dangerous.
Got it. Stuff found at the candy shop that's not Fun Dip.
Stuff found at the candy shop. Okay, so and I think everybody else kind of scattered into, and you guys are sort of making preparations for the bee arrival, right?
Yeah. So I think that I noticed that the bears actually have water balloons, and that we're going to use that as defense against the bees, just lobbing water balloons at them.
Okay. Roll strong arm. Let's see if that's entirely true.
Nope, that is a 5.
That is a 5, so you get a hold. And yeah, you totally you're sure those were water balloons. They're not. They're the balls from a ball pit. They look like water balloons. They're about the same size and they're brightly colored, right? But they are not going to shatter on impact and splash anyone with anything. Yeah.
I think I lost my original packaging in the ball pit.
Oh, that's so good.
I know, it is so sad. Not my original packaging.
Okay, so your original packaging is lost somewhere in the ball pit. You might be able to recover it, when you're not being bead. And outside, you guys hear the hum and the buzz of the bees as they arrive.
Oh no! I forgot about Bumblebee.
Yeah,
She's up on the roof.
You had one job.
I had 50 jobs. Try to get these bears all corralled. Look at that one, falling all over itself.
The pretentious bears, meanwhile, have put themselves on shelves in the candy store and appear to be trying to be unnoticeable. They're apparently hiding from the bees, and they're hiding in the like we're gonna pretend we're not alive way. And of course, you guys opened the door, but you didn't close it. And they come right through the front door, and this swarm, and it's like I described to Foreman Jane, it's a swarm of information, and now that they're closer, you can see these aren't like organic bees like you've seen drawings of in picture books. These are little mechanical pollination drones that exist for reasons that may or may not have to do with the apocalypse. But without directions, here they are now invading the candy store, and they cruise in and they bank. They can't hover, but they bank as they come in and start making a sweep, and like the bees start landing on like candy piles and things that are in the store. What do you guys do?
Oh, I've got an idea. So they're all on the shelves. I'm kind of whispering and motioning. I'm gonna push over the shelves, and it's gonna fall and crush the bees.
Okay. This will probably damage some of the pretentious bears too.
Yeah, they were jerks.
They were bullies. That is true. You guys gonna do that?
That seems an awful rude thing to do. Manners aside, I don't know.
I think I'm going to help.
Okay. All right.
They were awfully mean to me, so
they were mean to you. Screw those guys. All right. So Wabi, roll to help Lan.
Yeah.
Anyone, and then you can see if you can tag someone else into it.
That's an 8.
Okay.
So I choose 1, so I'll give you a +1 on your next move.
Okay. So Lan, you are giving a good heave ho. You're like what, 4 inches tall?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
I think the way I'm helping him is I'm actually lifting him up so he can be higher on the shelf. So he can push. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right.
Nope.
Okay.
That was a 5.
That was a 5. Is that with his +1?
Yep.
And with your strong arm?
Yep.
Okay. So all right. So go ahead and mark down that you have another hold. And what breaks?
Ooh.
Or is lost?
I think my head just pops right off. I slip, my head like just hits up against the side of the shelving and just pop right off.
Pops right off. This is the first time I've had a character decapitated in this game. Great. Go pick up your head.
Guessing out. Oh, no way.
I think Bobby Bear kind of grabs Lon in one hand and his head in the other and is like, oh no.
Wait,
Oh,
what
no.
happened? What happened? Like the mouth is moving and the body like very into bed. But it's like the peg actually like broke off, so it's like you can't actually get the head back onto the shoulder.
Not that we've tried yet, but okay. So meanwhile, the shelving that you were trying to shove, it does actually tip forward, and it crashes to the ground. This isn't a good thing, though. This is going to go poorly. Because while it crashes to the ground, the bees, which are far more mobile and quick than the pretentious bears, fly up as it starts falling. So they're not trapped. All the pretentious bears are trapped. You know. Okay, and they are now, of course, like an angry hive of bees, are swarming a little more chaotically than before. What are you guys gonna do? Keeping in mind, I can't present to you an adversary that is unreasonable or can't be talked to. So the bees seem pretty hostile, but there could be an in here. The ranks are broken.
I'm obviously not the person to come up with good ideas here.
Maybe there's a like a cotton candy machine that we can somehow figure out how to like fire up, and the bees in their chaos and flying around get all stuck up in like a forming cone like sugar tornado.
I love this idea. This sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody do it. I will help.
Yes.
Let me see if I can get this old machine up and running again.
Okay.
Now, actually,
Hang
would
on
that
a
be?
little bit.
I don't think I've done a strong arm roll, so I kind of forgot that when you're like, "Oh, I want to put this thing in the world," like
That would be strong arm, yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna. And what exact move does that trigger?
It's basically called Think It Through. You've declared a fact about the world, which is that there's a cotton candy machine right there, and you're going to roll strong arm to make it so.
I guess it would make sense that the completely accurate bit would be it's there, it works, and we know how to use it. And on a 7 to 9, we can figure out one of those that might be false, if that sounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that is a 4 and a 1 for a 5 plus 2 puts me into 7 territory.
Great. Okay, so it's there. It works. You don't know how to operate it. That's the part that isn't. But you think you do. So yeah.
Well, that's a great idea. But does anybody have stuff so we can try to get it working?
We have the fun dip.
We have the fun dip. Wait, no, it's not fun dip.
It is not fun
Anything
dip.
but
We do
fun
not
dip.
have it.
No, we have the fun dip, and then we have the thing that is not fun.
Oh, that's right. It's right. You have fun dip. That's right. We have fun
the
dip and
bears.
not fun dip. Yep. Yes.
So is this going to require? Can I help them, like find the right valve to dump this sugar into to get it running?
I think you absolutely can. Sure. So let's see. We're basically doing a repair on. It's not really a repair because it does function. You just have to figure out how to get it to function, which I guess is essentially the same. So who wants to help with what is essentially a jury rig?
I'd help.
You will help?
Yeah, I'd like to help too.
Okay. So let's start with Lan. And
I just want to be up on the machine and be encouraging, but not helping.
okay, so tag Odd in last then.
Yeah.
For your helping out.
I roll just fine when helping other people. So
That's
that's
good.
a 10.
All right.
So I'll definitely do +1. I'll definitely tag in Wobby Bear.
Okay.
I'll take the consequences for the failure. I'm not going to choose the nothing breaks.
Okay, good. All right. So Lan, you're tagging in Wobby Bear. Guys, don't forget that Checkers is like uber helpful. This is their jam. Don't forget that. So
yeah,
Wobby
that's
Bear.
true.
Okay, so let me roll to help, and I got a 6 + 1 for
For your tie.
for the tie. So that makes it a 7.
Yep.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, actually, Checkers is much better at this than I am, and I'm going to choose the option to tag Checkers in instead.
To tag Checkers in. So you're still helping. It's just your help isn't necessarily, all that much more helpful.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things is that when you're actually making a device, for example, somebody can help without giving the +1, and they count as a helper in the jury rig. So it's like, if you want to make something, you need a certain number of helpers, even if they don't give a +1. All right, so Checkers, it's on you.
Yeah, and to give a bit of fiction to how you might have helped would be that we probably got in a bit of an argument with each other, and you just kind of snapped us out of it, and I realized that I can jump in. That is a 7 + 1 for the tie, so it's an 8.
So that counts as a 10.
Choose one. Well, I guess I'll give them the +1.
It counts as a 10. You're a sock.
Oh, yes. 7 and 9. I'm a sock. Duh.
So pick 3.
Great. You get the +1. Y'all can have consequences. I don't want anything to do with that. I will choose nothing breaks as a result of at least my help. You know what? Give me the consequences. I'm tired of the helper round going around and around.
Okay. All right. So
2 or 3 helps is enough.
2 or 3 helps is enough. All right. So, and Odd is cheering from above, and Foreman Jane, you've got how many pluses do we have at this point?
I think +2 at least.
Mm-hmm.
+2. All right.
So I'm going to jury rig.
You are jury rigging the heck out of it, and that's with your scrounge.
Oh man, this is going to be really good.
Awesome. Because I take consequences if you screw up.
I also take consequences if you screw up.
That's great.
I rolled at 11, and I have +2 scrounge, so that's like a 15. It's one of the highest thing I've ever rolled at a PBTA game.
All right. So you choose 3. You successfully repair, or in this case, learn how to use the part. Right. It can gain a move. It doesn't use up your stuff. It doesn't draw unwanted attention.
I think I'm going to have it use up our stuff. So that's the one I will not choose.
Okay.
Because it's going to use up the fun dip.
It's going to use up the fun dip. So easy come, easy go. No more fun dip. All right. And it's going to gain a move. What kind of move do you guys want it to have?
Gunk up
Sugar tornado.
Sugar tornado.
Sugar tornado. I like sugar. Yeah, that was the goal after all. All right. So its move is Sugar Tornado, which is it can catch in its vortex one or more tiny parts or toys, which means, Foreman Jane, this is a dangerous thing for you to be near.
Oh my.
you think about it, you are the tiniest among us.
Yes. This is not OSHA regulation from what I've read.
And do you fire it up?
Well, got the big red button. Nothing left to do but cross our fingers. But like I just have like a little clamp hand. So,
Right.
but here we go.
Okay.
Crank her up.
So you press the big red button, and with a kind of rattling noise, the cotton candy machine begins to spin and starts whirling around. Meanwhile, from the shelves, you hear complaints from the pretentious bears that that you guys are invading their space and this is unfair and what are you doing with their stuff and so forth. The bees, the pollination bots, sort of, they've been swarming around and everything while you guys are doing this, and they've actually been knocking into things and knocking stuff over even. And they, at the sight and smell of or sense of the candy, of the cotton candy machine, they start making their way towards it, and they start getting pulled into the vortex. Foreman Jane, considering that you are about the same size as one of these pollination drones, it's a little daunting to see them get sucked in because, there but for the grace of sugar go you.
I gulp real loud at the sight of all that.
But yeah, they're now caught up in the vortex. So they're caught in the vortex. The bears, the pretentious bears, are mostly trapped under those shelves. You guys can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have an idea. But
I mean, why don't we just take all the sugar and
Well, you do have a limit to how much of it you could carry, but certainly everybody can take some.
Yeah.
Maybe like, you guys get the sugar. I'll handle the bears.
Okay. And Ott, how are you going to handle the bears now that they're trapped, so you don't have to.
I jump on it and I think I want to tell them, no, you hold tight. There's a big fight with the bees out here.
Oh, I see. So you're deceiving them.
And Wobbly Bears kicking their ass, and like I'm going into a big story how Wobbly Bears actually trying to save us all.
Okay.
I'm trying to lead a cheer, right? I want to change them.
Lead a cheer, like you're changing their mood. All right.
Yeah.
You are telling a good story. You're certainly not making a friend here because you're not approaching them with an open and honest heart, but it's definitely telling them a good story.
Maybe I get them to hold tight and have a different opinion on Wobbly Bear.
Sure. All right. Roll plus smile.
At least until they realize they've been abandoned underneath a giant shelf.
Yeah. But you'll be long gone by then.
Oh, that's a 4. It's a 6.
A 6. All right. So pick a part that breaks and get a hold. So they don't believe you. And they start complaining, and you can like see them start like moving underneath the shelves, like they're trying to push it up to get out from under it, and you even see like part of a bare hand sort of starting to grasp at the edge of the shelf. You guys don't have very much longer before they're going to get out of here.
I did want to try to find something to help start preparing myself before I go, though.
Okay. That's scrounge.
Yep. That's a 7.
Okay. So.
Let's get something dangerous. So I think it's exactly what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, I think So with this, so it's something some useful stuff. So this gives me stuff, or does this like can I find like a
Like-
missing part?
If you're looking for a specific thing, like if you said, I want to look for my box that's in the ball pit, in this case, you would find that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I totally want to find my missing
think-
packaging.
I think you found your packaging. However, because it is dangerous and wanted by somebody else, right? We'll say that it has it got like in some like sugar syrup or something that was in the ball pit.
Oh.
And one of the bees has noticed, one of the ones that didn't get caught in the vortex, and is has latched onto it, and the two of you are tussling over your thing. What do you want to do?
So did
I
other
wanna-
people actually want to do something else in here and have more time?
Good question.
I just got my little guys built up into a little pickup truck. We have a bed full of candy corn and peppermints and stuff, and we're ready to go.
It sounds like
I'm
they're
looking
just
in there.
raiding the candy store.
Yeah.
Then
I look in a little rear view mirror at the vortex of bees and candy and sugar, and I'm just like start pushing on the accelerator a little harder.
Yeah, then I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look for stuff.
Okay.
All right. Find something. Yeah. And that is an 8.
All right.
And I think I found what I was looking for, which is, I think it's a pretentious bear that isn't active anymore. Maybe they kicked him out or something like that. And I take a piece of him.
Okay. That is cannibalize.
Oh,
Because you're
Which
gonna
is-
get a part of
Cannibal police are coming for you.
Yep. Yeah, sorry about that. There's a fire station not too far from here, and they use my road as a throughway when the one in front of them is a little crowded. So, because our road doesn't get trafficy. So roll strong arm because you're basically breaking. Or you can just take the roll that you took for find something and use strong arm instead.
oh, that would fail.
Oh, it would. Okay.
Yeah. So,
No, we'll say that. We'll say that. All right, it's fine. It's fine. We'll just say that you got some stuff.
okay, I'll just
and
put down stuff.
And it's a bear part.
Okay.
You can say that it's part of a bear. But it's not a bear that, well, we'll even say it's not a bear that was ever awake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That way it's not quite so creepy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Lan?
Yeah, so I wanted to go creepy and deal with this bee by cannibalizing it.
You want to cannibalize the bee?
Yes.
Well, the bee is alive, so you're not really breaking something, you're breaking someone. So this would be a fight.
Break that bee.
Yeah. Let's break that bee.
Okay. So when we get into a fight montage, everybody will get damaged. Is everybody okay with that?
Is it everyone
Yes.
in the game, or is it everyone who is
The
participating?
whole party. Yep.
That seems appropriate for these last remaining bees still swarming around.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Also,
All right.
we still have the bears who I made angry. I'm like sitting
Yeah,
at the back of the
that's true.
shelf, and they're like,
That's right.
trying to get out.
Oh, so I just imagine this. Like, I pull out my packaging, and there's a bee stuck to it. I go, like, hopping into the main building, being like, bee, and then waving my packaging around, like, smacking it, and, like, the whole, like,
There's
you
sugar
know,
dust everywhere.
Yes.
comedy of errors, like, things, like, fall all over the place.
Yes. Okay. So everyone breaks apart and describe how you win the fight. and we will reconvene outside the candy store with Bumblebee. So, Lan, it sounds like you have sort of this slapstick thing going on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Might I suggest that this might be a nice time for a little 5-minute break or so, and we can all kind of come back fresh with some ideas to put into a fight montage?
That's a great idea.
Okay.
All right. So 5-minute break and come back in, what is that? At like 3 after the hour.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Okay, so I think I got my lower third to work.
Sweet.
Yep, looked good. The glance that I saw.
Okay, I just flipped it so it wasn't backwards, and now it's gone.
You know, Lowell was mentioning that he has a problem with that as well, where it just disappears after 2 minutes. You might just I think he mentions always Chrome as well. Like he's a smart feller and he didn't figure it out. So
Yeah.
Is mine backwards, by the way?
Not on our screens.
Okay. I don't care if it's backwards on mine. I'm not looking at mine.
Mine looks backwards to me. So if it looks okay to everyone else, I would have assumed somebody would say something if the lower thirds were screwed up by now.
Yeah, I'm trying this reload thing one more time.
Let's see.
Well, it's backwards on my screen, but whatever.
Yeah, it looks fine.
All right. We're just waiting for Michael to get back.
So it looks like he's paying attention to the room, but he's just eating. He posted in the comments.
Oh, slurping a chili. Got it. Okay. Cool. All right. So fight song. So everyone gets damaged. What is your victory condition? Let's start with Lan, who kind of initiated the I'm gonna beat up the bee.
I wasn't really sure how else to deal with the bee, and it just kind of seemed entertaining enough.
Sure.
I think that it's going to end with me having my original packaging and with a bunch of bee parts smushed into the gum that's stuck to it. So I've got the parts that I can like pick out of the gum to use, but I still have like gum and bee parts on my packaging.
Okay. All right. And you broke something too. So one of your parts gets broken during the fight.
Oh, I totally lost my collector's value here.
Okay. All right. Well, fortunately that's something you can restore later, though, right? So, okay.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. And Checkers, how did you get out of this situation? What's your montage?
I am both right leg and left leg. Alex and Pat are flinging whatever candy they can find. I was thinking some rock candy in particular might make good fuel. But right now it's ammunition, and Alex gets a little bit overextended, and gets kind of sucked up in the cotton candy. There's kind of a struggle, and Alex is ripped off.
You lost Alex?
Yeah, Alex.
Oh no. Okay. All right. This is tragic. I feel terrible for Pat. And then do you make it out? I mean, like the rest of you? Out of the candy store?
So Foreman Jane, she's being chased by a bee, and she's like kind of looking out the mirror, and it's chasing behind her, and it dives at her truck full of candy, and she kind of makes a maneuver, and you hear a badunk, and kind of ran over the bee.
Okay.
Make it out, but one of my tires kind of was sheared off and is rolling away.
All right. Okay.
So I think Wobby Bear's kind of waddling along, trying to quickly catch up with everyone else. Whenever one of the bees dive bombs him, and again, that pesky door. He tries to make it out. It takes one of his arms.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Terranar.
I think we get the shot on the outside where we're like all like hurt and battered, shuffling out of the store, right? And I think it's Art is just asking everyone, "Where's my feather? Where's my feather?" And like he had a feather that's supposed to go with a hat that he didn't have yet. But what's way more gruesome is I think one of the stingers got caught up in his fur, and like it's still hanging in it, and it's ripped at the shoulder, so you kind of see the scaffolding underneath. Yeah, but
that's creepy. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys reconvene outside the candy store, and you look beat to hell. Like parts are missing or just damaged, and other like mechanical bee parts are mixed in with your and the bumblebee flutters down, does a little somersault in the air as it comes down to greet you, because it has a sense of whimsy and it did not just go through this terrible ordeal. And it settles, and the basket lands right in front of you. Like, here we go. Let's go on another adventure.
So the truck kind of breaks down, and little brick things are sort of like shuffling the candy up into the basket. But Foreman Jane turns to Pat and says, Pat, where's Alex?
No, Alex isn't gone. He's just the waistband now.
It's sort of like flops or something, or his way of acknowledgement, or
I think it's like he like Pat can't really imagine, and I guess the whole personality and how I kind of perceive of tights is that they're a sock that refuses to be a single sock. They're like twin personalities, so even if that other personality kind of shifts into another part of the sock, I think as long as there's two parts, they're there. But things changed. It's kind of like Alex takes on a different personality, and they'll have to get used to each other again. They're not right and left leg anymore.
All right. So you guys reconvene in the basket, and you load up with some sugar and everything, and you fly off. Now, at this point, you are not in any imminent danger. You're not running away from anybody. So if you want, this would be an excellent time to use the take a breather, which is when you're not running away, you can describe yourself doing a minor repair on yourself, and one of your parts is restored to its normal functionality. It doesn't use stuff. It's just kind of oh yeah, like my arm was damaged by the door, but I can reattach it, or you can pop your head back on, or whatever that's kind of like a little recovery moment. So those of you who wish to do that can take that moment and do it. Otherwise, you might want to do some jury rig to affect a repair and things like that, as well as you guys are flying off.
Now, do the bee parts that are now stuck to my packaging, can I use that as stuff?
Yeah, that's totally stuff, right? Unless you already had stuff, in which case you already had stuff. But if you needed stuff, I'm gonna hand wave. You have stuff. In fact, everybody who got into this tussle at this point has stuff, either bee parts or sugar or something like that. So you got out of this this montage with stuff.
Yeah. So I totally would like to jury rig myself, and I'm going to spend one of my holds so I don't actually have to spend stuff on that.
Okay,
Because I
great.
believe that's what the doll face ability does.
That is a doll face ability. Yep. I think that
And
might
then-
even be Mekka.
Well, no, the Mekka thing is when I'm the target of that, I can spend additional stuff to give myself a new move.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. So Dollface, you so you don't have to spend the stuff. You can just do it. It's let's scrounge.
Yep. So that is an 8.
Okay. So pick one. You can repair it. You can gain a move. It doesn't use up your stuff, which you don't have to worry about. It doesn't draw unwanted attention.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so I'm already getting the move because of the Mekka part. So I'm going to successfully repair my head, and I can't get my original head to fit back on, so I take the B head, and I'm able to get that to be my new head.
Okay. All right. And so you're gaining a move, is that right?
Yeah.
Repairing yourself. Okay. Gain a move. Anything in particular you're looking for with that move?
I mean, I think it would make sense that I can understand what the bees are saying now.
That was what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. That would totally work. So you speak bee. You speak mechanical bee. All right. And if you want to also use minor fix up to fix a different part, you can do that too. It would just restore it to normal functionality.
Okay. I guess I can get a collector's value back.
You could get your collector's value. In fact, you're a different type of collector now. The collection now.
oh, I'm no longer the collection. I'm the collector.
Collector's value has changed in meaning.
I am putting it. I'm just adding an apostrophe.
Collector's value. All right. Anybody else want to fix themselves up or anything?
Yeah, I think it just patch up the fur part using the stinger as a needle.
Yeah, that absolutely works. So is that just take a breather kind of to repair? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool.
I'd like to also do a jury rig if possible. And use up my stuff.
Use up your stuff.
Yep. So basically, this is me trying to repair the torn fur that I have.
Okay.
And I got a 9. So I think that I'm going to successfully repair the part. And I think what this is some of the fur that I got back in the candy store, but it's a different color.
Okay, I like that.
Mismatched color of fur that, where the door ripped it off.
So what color were you before?
I think I was brown, like in the picture. However, I think maybe this was white. This bear that, I repaired it from was white, so it really stands out.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Cool. Anyone else need to do a jury rig or anything?
I have stuff, but I think I wasn't really thinking ahead too much, and kind of I'll let the Alex right leg decision play as it may. Might I be able to use that stuff to improve our ship a bit? Maybe give it a bit of speed.
Absolutely. You could totally do an upgrade. Is what that would be. So this would be using stuff to upgrade your bumblebee, and I mean, the stuff that you're using could be Bumblebee parts, so this could be interesting, or it could be bee parts. So this will be with Scrounge.
Oh, no.
And is that your bad one? Is that your dumb stat? Okay. Does anyone want to help you with that?
I'll help.
Okay. So Lan, roll plus tie.
8.
8.
I think just +1 is the way to go on this.
Just a +1. Nice, good, solid +1 on your jury rig there.
I guess I should probably describe exactly what I wanted to try to do with the Bumblebee, or would we do that after the roll?
Oh, you can do it now if you want.
Yeah. Let's make it go super fast, and we'll have a super fast maneuverable Bumble that doesn't get very.
So like adding a propeller or something.
They're yeah, maybe just made out of the bee's wings that we can fashion into something that's not the bumblebee's wings, but it's a propeller that would give it the extra speed.
Okay. Oh, excuse me.
2 and a 5. So thanks to help, that stays at a 7.
Okay, so you can pick one. And in this case, it would just be a modification. If you just want to say you successfully modify it, and that'll just give it the +1.
Okay.
Yeah,
it doesn't
really gain a move. It does use up the stuff though, and probably draws unwanted attention, which I think I will hold on to the unwanted attention until after you guys get back to the hive.
Ooh. Speaking of the unwanted attention, so Foreman J is going to do a little repair. She's going to take one of these hard peppermint discs and drill a little hole in the center, and now it's a new wheel.
Now it's a new wheel.
For an old wheel.
Yeah.
But I'd like to spend my hold from losing my part to ask a question. And my poor lonely tire is still sitting in the candy shop. I want to know, are there any bees that are following us?
That is a great question. Okay, so I will say that the bees are not following you, but just as you've got a limited sort of sense of your wheel for a little time, they seem to have a limited amount of sense of you guys for a little while.
Because we have incorporated them into our bodies.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy. Okay. Good to know.
All right. Yep. Okay. So, and we're going to fast forward a little bit. You guys arrive back at the hive in the evening. And you, of course, you had been scouting. So you are now conferring with the leaders of the neighborhood watch groups about where to scout tomorrow. The hive is not going back towards the candy store. That's too dangerous. Those bears sound like trouble, and it doesn't sound like they had the answer. So, so let me jot down a couple of names here.
My lower third is gone now, isn't it?
Yep.
You and Lowell should keep in touch if you ever figure out what it is. I bet it's the same thing.
Right.
Also, it's quite a thing to say in this game. My lower third is gone.
Right. Yeah, at first I was like, did you... okay, I thought you already were missing
another part? Seriously?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't lose parts. I just change them out.
It's modular.
Well, okay, my original packaging has added some descriptions. My head has changed.
That is this game. Absolutely. Yes. This game is all about all my stuff broke, and now it's all different. All right, and we'll go with Raggedy Lynn. All right, so. So 3 of the leaders of the Neighborhood Watch, Panda Puppet Man, who is a mechanical panda transformer thing, not actually a puppet. I don't know, married into the puppet mans. Harvey of the Wastes, who is a sock. A very sturdy, like rigorous sock, and Raggedy Lynn, who is a ragdoll. So they're all kind of chit-chatting or talking over where to go next, and there's some urgency about the question. The 3 of them are, look, it's been almost 14 days. And we still we're not even close to answering the question of why did we all wake up? And why did we wake up and none of the other toys, the other toys did not. So where are we going to scout ahead from, tomorrow? And the options that they have in front of them. There's a low range of hills to the north, which there could be protection, might be defensible, there could be natural resources, there could be, knowledge there. There might be, knowledge in the more natural world. There's a river up ahead, directly ahead, that meanders through the plains. There might be flotsam, and there might be other creatures, other toys that live there that might have the answer. If we turn back and go the other way, we could head towards the ocean, where we might find a port or other toys. And off to the south, there is a badlands of rubble, buildings, asphalt, and garbage. Do we want to explore there? Where do you guys want to explore next? Harvey of the Wastes is fully committed to, he believes you guys should go off into the Badlands. Because we all know that piles of garbage have lots of stuff and often surprise answers to questions we didn't even think to ask. Panda Puppet Man thinks we should go back towards the sea, that we may find a port, and if nothing else, there's solace in encountering the ocean. And Raggedy Lynn is all in favor of heading for the hills. Not for any reason she can particularly articulate. She just feels like that might be the right way.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
Maybe.
I think that the Wastelands makes a lot of sense to Lando.
I agree. Yeah.
I'm glad that was the sock suggestion, because I would have leaned toward, I would have sided with the sock guy anyway, but also like the Wasteland, the Badlands.
Okay, Badlands. All right.
I'm just here to take orders.
Okay. All right. So, all right. And we have about a half hour left, so I think we might be able to deal with just the Badlands at this point. So you head out towards the. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna skip to a different part, because I think we can have a little overnight, and then we'll probably wrap up. You guys have you plan to go out to the Badlands tomorrow, and oh, that's interesting. Yes, and you're here at the Hive, Some stragglers are coming in. The hive is setting up camp for the night. What does your home camp look like for each of you? Do you live alone? Do you sleep out under the stars? Do you have a shelter? How long does it take to set up?
I sleep in Bumblebee's basket,
Okay.
curled up.
Curled up. So you, all right. And that means that you and Bumblebee must be really good friends.
Yeah, we get along quite well, I think.
Okay.
I still have like a bit of feeling of guilt. 'Cause I ripped her tail yesterday, so
Yeah,
yes.
well, you know, that happens.
I think the way Lan used to sleep was he used to have a little nook that he kind of set up to look like it was a display shelf where he would like sleep, standing there, looking all proud and valuable. But given his recent changes, I think instead he's taking like little bits of stuff and putting it where he used to stand, and just kind of like sits down in a position where he just stares at it all night.
Okay.
Yeah, this is getting a little creepy.
That's cool. It's a little creepy though. Foreman Jane always has a very nice little house made out of bricks and stuff that she can just build up and sleep in whenever she wants to.
She pretty much builds her house out of theirself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think there's actually a lot of the toys in the hive. There's basically like a train. It's not a real train. It's like a toy train that's oversized that you'd see children, riding around or driving around or something like that.
Oh, like
It
at
has
the mall?
Yeah, something like that, but not really on a track. And it's got multiple cars to it. Some are better than others. And Wobby Bear stays in one of those cars with a few other toys.
Okay. Do you have a best friend?
I don't have a best friend, but I have an enemy.
Okay. And your enemy is?
My enemy is Gerald, and it's this giant giraffe. It's a stuffed giraffe, and I think he's jealous of the car that I sleep in and the people that I'm, the other toys that are in that car.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily oriented towards me. It's anyone else that sleeps in that car.
Anyone from car number 6.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, because maybe he's in like car number 7.
Right.
And he can always look over from car number 7 and see that car number 6 is just having a great time.
Right.
Yeah.
So like you guys in car number 6, you guys like play games, you tell stories, read books to each other, that kind of thing, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and car number 7, they're all like really they're really like kind of closed off from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Except Gerald the giraffe wants to be a party animal, really.
Yeah, and I think actually Gerald Giraffe, one of the reasons that whole car is closed off is because he keeps, leaning back down and telling them, well, now they're telling a story about trains up in car number 6. And
right.
They're playing, checkers up in car number 6 now. And then
right.
Kind of shut everybody else down.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Checkers, where do you sleep?
Yeah, so I guess since I'm the only sock, I can sort of make up what socks are in this type of the world. And I think that socks have this peculiar tendency to crash kind of wherever, but
Mm-hmm.
they always find they always find a pair if they can. It's sort of like torture to go to sleep alone.
Mm-hmm.
And, nothing weird or anything, but they just like companionship because they're socks, and it doesn't really matter who they are. But I know like another friend that you had mentioned, I'd say maybe tonight they find a Christmas stocking, and this stocking is a little bit it's ridiculously huge and was never really filled. it knows it's supposed to be filled with stuff, but it would take a whole lot to.
It's never been complete. It's like a stocking that they used as decoration at a mall kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big sock.
All right. I like that.
You folks are all
and
making me so sad.
huh?
This whole thing has been just so sad.
There is a repeat theme of like loss and sadness, isn't there? So Lan, as you're sort of settling in and you know you set up your little display and everything, you hear the other members of the Bumblebee have gone to bed and everything, and you hear that tickles.
Excuse me?
Seems to be coming from like back over that way.
I'll go check that out.
Okay, so you go check it out. You see Ott is getting ready to go to sleep in Bumblebee's basket.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear giggling again, and you see that the kite sort of ruffles again. But you know, if it's Bumblebee, they're pretty.
Oh, I speak Bumblebee.
You speak bee.
Bumble. I can understand you.
What?
You can understand me?
What? Yes. Oh, this is so great. Oh, I wanted to tell you so many things. Oh. Oh, Ott's tickling my basket.
Hey, Ott, you're tickling Bumblebee.
Oh, yeah. Like Ott's head goes up. Already having been slightly asleep. And
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I think Bumble likes it, but you're totally tickling them.
Yeah, I'm got my tail's like going slightly.
Right.
And that's probably it.
Yeah. Wag your tail more. I want to see if this is working.
Right, and again the kite ruffles a little bit as you tickle Bumblebee. Oh, this is so exciting! Oh! Listen, cherry flavored always better than anything else. Cherry flavor sugar is the best.
Okay, so next time we find some sugar, it's got to be cherry flavored.
Oh, this is so great! Oh my gosh! Oh, can we play hide and seek?
Yeah. I'm like, do Joyce actually need to sleep? Let's find out.
Not really. Not particularly. So Ott, Bumblebee like lifts off the ground suddenly. Do you
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah.
Okay.
I've only been getting like half a conversation where I'm don't even know where the other part of the conversation is. And yeah. I jump up and
Okay, you hide.
Okay.
Do you tell Ott that you guys are playing hide and seek?
my first bristling. I'm
no, I think this is a little exciting.
Okay. So you just run off.
Yeah.
All right. So suddenly, Lan and Bumblebee just take off in different directions.
Oh, am I still in the basket? So is this Bumblebee taking me with?
Yeah, sure. You can still be in the basket if you want. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's sort of like this, like it sort of does a rhythmic like lower, and it does that 10 times, and then it starts speeding over the hive.
Yeah, I'm grabbing onto something in the wind.
So yeah, you and Bumblebee play hide and seek for a while. Ott, do you stay with them? Do you decide to go off and find some place to rest, or do you join in?
I think I join in. Yeah.
All right. At some point, the hide and seek party makes its way to car number 6, and probably because Lan probably goes to hide there at some point. It's a good place.
Yeah.
It's a good place to hide because everybody's a little noisy, and gets Wabi involved. And by dawn,
we can play sardines.
play sardines. By dawn, you guys have you've been playing hide and seek all night. Bumblebee's not even a little tired. Your toys, so you can be tired if you want, or not. Checkers, your Christmas sock companion, is very mellow in the morning, just kind of like, hey, you're a scout. If you ever come back with like a whole lot of stuff, especially if it's already wrapped, could you? I just someday I'd like to. I just like to like hold a lot of wrapped packages. It'd be so cool.
I'll keep an eye out for it. Yeah, it's but it's rough out there. But I'll do what I can.
Thanks. Okay, and I think we should probably start wrapping up because it is 20 till.
I think actually Gerald the giraffe was able to participate in the hide and go seek.
Yeah.
And the way that he hid is he took the giant stocking and put that over his giraffe head. So everybody can see this giant giraffe with the giant stocking on it, but he thinks he's hidden.
Mm-hmm. And in the morning, Foreman Jane comes out and kind of stretches a big yawn, Oh, all right. Time to round up and get to work, y'all. And everyone's like tired and like rubbing their eyes. You look like you
because they've been playing all night. All right, and in the morning, you guys head out to the Badlands and further adventures and scouting, and that's Threadbare. I hope you enjoyed the game.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you.
That was so good.
That was awesome.
Thank you. And yeah, like the Flight of the Bumblebee can actually it has a little bit more that it can go on, but for a 3-hour session, it's like pacing can be difficult. Pacing is always difficult in a one shot, right?
Yeah.
I loved how you wrapped it up, though. That was just so heartwarming and delightful.
Thanks. Yeah, and then the continuing adventures. That's great. I thank you so much. I enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time.
Oh yeah, definitely for me.
Yeah, and it was great playing with you guys. You guys are so creative.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
Same.
Yeah, this
Cool.
was this was really well. I actually really like how stuff works now because the version I played before there was still stuff and things and it felt like a little much to manage. This was like super smooth. It's like you got the stuff where you don't.
Yes, and things can be part, but it's sort of like if you don't really need it to be a specific thing, like a device, you just call it stuff and deal with it later. Yeah. So cool. Well, thank you guys. That was tremendously fun. I loved that you added a bee head and then you could talk to Bumblebee.
Yes, that was not what I was expecting by adding a bee head, but oh my god, that was fun.
I'll throw out an end of game ritual thing. I know Michael's familiar with this. If you want to take the time for it, by all means, or we can just kind of end early because I know people have games to get to. But it's roses and thorns. You kind of go around and do roses first, and then thorns if there are any.
Sure.
I don't really have any thorns personally, but roses-wise, Stephanie, I thought you did an awesome job of keeping things very smooth, and it was really cool being able to play with Stephanie Bryant, the designer of Threadbare.
Oh, thank you.
And I think you put on a really good game, very representative of your work, and I just had a really great time. So thank you.
Thank you.
That was my like fanboyness. Like it's always fun to play with designers, and it's a great way to experience the game. I love it when a PBTA game kind of you had your kind of paragraph description there, and that it was what it was, and I didn't take the playbooks or anything until like the 5 minutes before game, and I like how character creation is really thin, like lightweight, I guess, and but there's just so many interesting options, and
Thank you.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that's all I can think of.
Yeah, so I had such a good time. I have to admit, so I don't know how many of you heard this when we first started, but Stephanie mentioned that the books that came out from the Kickstarter, some of the page numbers are slightly cut off. And that must have been heartbreaking whenever you saw that. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Yeah, we so I ordered the largest number of physical products that were backed in the Kickstarter were the soft back, soft cover color. And I was like, okay, well, at least I can get the bulk of these out and get a shipment to Gen Con, because we were having these trim problems with the proofs for the hardcover and with the black and white version, but my soft cover version came in clean. I was like, all right, at least I can get those printed, and we'll keep working on the other ones, right? And so I ordered a bunch for Gen Con to be in a booth, and then a week later, I ordered the 177 to be fulfilled for the backers. And every single one of them has a trim problem.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was heartbreaking. Fortunately, it's only the soft covers, and we still haven't printed the hardcovers or the black and whites in bulk like that. And we're at the point now where I keep saying we, but it's really me. I'm at the point now where this week, hopefully I can order a proof that will be good, and of the hardcovers, and I'm actually, I updated the file for the soft covers, because I figured, okay, we can update this file and hopefully reduce the risk of this happening again. Because what I don't want to have happen is for people to get their books replaced with the same problem. So,
well, I wish you lots of luck with that. That sounds horrible.
It's kind of a mess, but about 50 people have sent me pictures of their bad trim pages out of 177, and essentially, if they get them into me before I send in the basically before I send in a bulk request to have them replaced, then they'll be in the bulk request, and they'll all just get taken care of at the same time. If not, then people have to deal with Drive-Thru RPG separately, and I'll be like, here's their contact information, go argue with them. It costs me nothing, it costs them nothing to get them replaced or anything. So it's just a matter of, Lightning Source needs to do a better job of quality control. So yeah, we don't even know what happened, like why these, my copy's fine, their trim was not. So
I looked at my copy, and sure enough, I'd flipped through it. I love the book, because in the back of the book, there's these handy how do you make your toys, and how do you alter your toys into being these different kinds of things. I'm like, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
But I had never had to look anything up like in the index by page number, so I'd never noticed that the page numbers were slightly off.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those tutorials were part of the stretch goals. So for those of you who don't have the book, there are 2 tutorials that were stretch goals. One is a doll's head dice bag. So you can take a doll head and convert it into a dice bag. for your gaming pleasure. And the other is just a lengthy tutorial from a friend of mine who helps run a makerspace, and it's all about hacking together toy parts into different weird toy creations. It's pretty fun. So anyway, sorry, we're still on Roses and Thorns, and got a little sidetracked about the book.
No, I think we can agree that the printing being not up to par is a thorn, one that's out of your control and isn't really about like the game or how we played it today. But it's a bummer that happened.
Well, to get back to Roses, I can say, so I played this at Gen Con, and it was a fantastic game. And to be honest, the GM did a great job, but it was really the other players. Like, one of the players that I sat down to play with pulled out the stuffed frog that she carries everywhere with her, and that was her character. And it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this was a great session. It was a ton of fun. I think everyone dove right into this, right into the feel of the game. I think, though, the rose I really want to give is there is this really bizarre dichotomy in this game between this body horror, grim, post-apocalyptic, we're scrounging around, we're broken, and this friendship is magic sort of story. And the fact that we were able to go from one to another seamlessly, it really just says a lot about the game, and Stephanie for running the game, and I think the players for committing to it, because that can be disorienting. And when I tell people, when I try to describe what Threadbare is, I basically say it's Mad Max meets Toy Story. And
it is.
They're like, how does that work? I'm like, it does.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I thank you guys so much for this. Was so much fun for me. My roses for this are the five of you, coming to play this game and bringing your creative ideas. And one of the things that I love when I run this game is somebody inevitably brings their favorite toy from childhood, and I want to thank you guys for having brought some of your favorite toys from childhood and delving into the nostalgia space as well. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that was great. Like, also, like, it's a little bit mixed up Roses and Thorns for me in the way that it was really awesome to see so many different toys and so many different takes. Maybe we were like a one player too many for a 3-hour game, but
maybe, yeah.
We gotta enjoy everything.
Yeah.
It was very cool to play with you all.
Great.
Awesome. One of the highlights of my weekend.
Well, Paul says, let me know when to take you off broadcast. We have 9 minutes left, and I know you guys want to get to your next games. So I'm going to thank anyone who is tuning in or anyone who watches this later on YouTube for sticking with us and enjoying our journey. I want to thank you all for playing with us, and yeah, let's wrap up. And I don't know if Paul is actually paying attention or not, but we can go now. All right. So thank you guys all, and have a happy Gauntlet Con.
Thanks.
Thank you.